morning, friends. It might look like I have very beautiful, healthy, dewy skin, but it's just really warm this morning, and my condo doesn't have air conditioning. So this spring, I accumulated quite a few books. I have 15 books, I believe, to show you today. I'm really excited about all of them. They were all very much anticipated reads, and I do have a small handful that were sent to me for review that I'm also super pumped about. So the first one I have to show you is actually this really cute and quick little graphic novel. It is called A Quick and Easy Guide to They Them Pronouns by Archie, Bongiovanni, and Tristan Jimerson. This little graphic novel was sent to me by Omnipress. I'm very excited to have this. I actually have already flipped through it and read it. It is very informational. I enjoyed it, and I think that this is going to be very useful in the future. I also appreciate that it is very reasonably priced at $8. So it'll be something that I will probably purchase a finished copy for just to have in my work office. And just to be able to kind of hand out to coworkers whenever they're having difficulties understanding they/them pronouns, because this was super helpful, and I think that it could be really great for someone who's just beginning to try to be more respectful of other people's pronouns, and also just a good refresher and more in-depth look at people who've already been in that practice. The next book I have is The Summer of Broken Things by Margaret, Peterson, Haddix. I actually already have read this. This was also sent to me for review. Like I said, I've already read it. This is a YA contemporary. It is a dual point of view book, and it follows two main characters who are both spending their summer in Spain, which was really exciting for me. Spain is definitely a place that I really want to visit one day. So kind of seeing it through the eyes of this novel was cool, and kind of like satiated some of that wanderlust that I have, which is something that I always feel really creep in during the springtime all the way up until autumn. And I want to be out traveling somewhere in the world, but travel is expensive and you have to take off work, and sometimes it's just not very accessible. So I live my wanderlust through books sometimes. Next, I have two graphic novels that were also sent to me for review, and that is Beauty and the Beast, a modern retelling, and The Snow Queen, a graphic novel. I haven't read these yet, but they're definitely on my TBR and coming up to read, because I feel like they'll be pretty easy to flip through. The artwork in these are so beautiful. Like, if you like classic fairy tales and graphic novels, but you also like a little twist, I highly recommend picking these up, because I've already kind of peeked into them and they look so good, like so amazing. And finally, for books that I was sent for review, I have Geek Arella by Ashley Poston. This is actually a book I've been wanting to read for a while, but I just hadn't gotten around to either getting it from my library or picking it up from the bookstore. But Quirk Books sent this to me because this, just this past Tuesday, was released in paperback, which is really exciting because it is now a little bit more affordable. And the paperback edition is actually really pretty. It looks pretty much the same as the original cover, but I don't know, I think it's just going to look really nice on my contemporary shelf, because most of my contemporary books are like up on this shelf, which you can't see, but they're all paperback. And this is like a contemporary YA retelling of Cinderella set at a geek convention, which is amazing, and I absolutely love the premise of the story, so I'm very excited to read this one. Alright, moving on to the books that I have just picked up on my own and I'm really excited about, starting with Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is a YA contemporary mystery that is set at a boarding school, and that just sounds amazing. I think this is going to give me a lot of Frankie Lando Banks vibes, which I'm super excited about, because that is one of my favorite contemporary books set at a boarding school. And this one has like a mystery to it, and it seems a little dark and twisted because it's like trying to solve a murder mystery. And that just sounds incredible to me. I absolutely adore this cover. I had some leftover points on my credit card from books that I had pre-ordered over the year, and I had gotten just enough back from that pre-order guarantee that I had enough money to buy this, so I did. Next, I have Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. This is a YA contemporary that follows a main character named Leah Burke, who you might recognize from Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda. And this book kind of follows her storyline, and it leads up to like the classic high school prom scene, which I love that. I was not a prom hater in high school. I liked it. It's not something that I consider like super memorable now as an adult, but it was fun. I think that there was something valuable to it and I enjoyed it while it was happening. So I like that this book kind of explored that and explored kind of like the mixed feelings around prom. That's not all this book explored, but that was just like a point that I personally really appreciated, and I really adored this. I also picked up Blood, Water, Paint by Joy McCullough. This is a book that I originally borrowed from the library, and it really stuck with me, and I just loved it so much that I knew I wanted to have it in my collection, so I went ahead and purchased it. And to me, that is like the stamp of approval, the highest stamp of approval I can give a book, is to borrow it from the library and be so in love with it that I have to have it immediately in my collection. Even though I'm not going to read it within the next month or two, like I know that I'm going to revisit this one day because it was so meaningful and powerful that I just had to have it on my shelf. It is a YA historical fiction that follows a main character from the 1600s, and how she took her rapist to trial, and it's written in verse, and it is just stunning and beautiful and everything I needed in a YA book that takes on rape culture, and it echoed so many pertinent things that we see today, even though this took place in the 1600s. So I loved that. This book, I mean, I'm still thinking about it. The next two books are An Ember in the Ashes and A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. These are the newly released paperbacks with new covers, and I adored them so much that I just went ahead and picked them up because I found them for a really good price and they're beautiful. And one of my friends, Chesney, adores the series and is always telling me I need to read it, and she's always offering to let me borrow her books, and I just need to get around to it because it seems to be a really well-loved fantasy series here on BookTube, and my friend Chesney loves it, and she hasn't really pointed me in the wrong direction yet as far as the book recommendation goes, so I felt pretty confident in picking this up. And I had played with the idea of reading these for Asian American History Month, but my TBR was already kind of unmanageable, so these got put to the back burner for now, but hopefully I'll get to them soon because the third book comes out in like June, I think. Anyway, these are YA fantasies and they have a Roman inspiration behind them. And that's all I really know, other than the fact that it's an amazing fantasy series, and really that's all I need to know. The next book I have is one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and that is Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. I have already read this because I had an advanced reader's copy, still wanted the finished one because I love everything that Ashley Herring Blake puts out. It is so incredible. And this book is a YA contemporary that follows a main character whose brother is accused of rape. And it just deals with that topic so carefully and so honestly. This book's hard to read. Super major content warning for rape and sexual assault because it is very present in this book. But this book, I think, handled everything really well and had really great commentary on rape culture. And I adored it. I recommend it if that's something you're comfortable with reading. And if it's not, I cannot recommend this book because it is very emotionally draining and difficult to read. So please take care of yourself first and foremost. The next book I have is Amal, Unbound by Aisha Saeed. This is a middle grade that follows a main character who gets put into indentured servitude in Pakistan. And I think this book is going to be really amazing because I've already read Written in the Stars, which dealt with some pretty intense themes. And that was done really beautifully and really carefully, and I'm really excited about this one because I feel like it is going to be no different. I also picked up Love and Luck by Jenna Welch. This is the sequel in a companion duology, maybe series? I don't know if there's going to be more, to Love and Gelato, and I'm really excited about this one. Again, I'm trying to live my life of wanderlust through books, so I don't spend $1 million that I don't have. And this is a YA contemporary that follows a main character who is traveling through Ireland. And I love Ireland as a country. Would love to be able to visit again, but you know, sometimes that's just not in the cards. So I'm just going to read this book and try to fulfill my wanderlust throughout the summer and autumn season because it's coming on strong this year. Yet another sequel, I have Puddin by Julie Murphy, and this book I pre-ordered, so I have some pre-order goodies that I got with it that I'm really excited about. But this is a YA contemporary that follows the main character who has went every summer to fat camp but is still fat, and I think this summer she just kind of like throws that away. There's like a hashtag going around that's like riots not diets, and I love that, and I think this book is going to be really fat positive and kind of take on diet culture, which is something that I think we need to see more of in YA, because I remember when I was in high school, like, I was always trying out a new diet and trying to just be like my best, healthiest self, but those diets never really, I never really achieved what those diets promised, and they never made me feel better, and it never changed any single part of my life. So I'd love to see more YA books that kind of help ingrain that message that you are perfect and wonderful in the body that you have, and you can be happy and beautiful and just everything you want to be with the body that you're currently in, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm excited about this book. I think that it's going to retroactively help heal some of the damage that diet culture did to me in my formative years. And I know I said I only had like 15 books, but I lied. I've got a few more that I just kind of forgot about because I have incorporated them into my shelves so well that I forgot about them until just now. So I picked up Hurricane Child by Karen Callender, and this is a middle grade book about a main character who lives in the US Virgin Islands, and it just kind of follows their story through hurricane season, I believe. I didn't know much about this. I just know that there was a pre-order campaign going around. I loved the vibrant colors, and like I said, like Amal Unbound, I'm always looking for middle grade that has more of a serious tone to it, and I think that that will be delivered in this book. So I'm really excited about it, and I can't get over how beautiful this cover is. It is so stunning. Like, those colors are so summery and beautiful. And because I love Ashley Herring Blake, and I'm not gonna not get one of her books, I picked up Ivy Aberdeen's Letter to the World. This is a YA middle grade that follows a main character who is bisexual and also lives in tornado country, Tennessee. And I believe it just kind of follows her life after a major tornado, which I think is going to be really interesting because that is a natural disaster that many children experience in different parts of the country, and she's also exploring her bisexuality at a younger age, which is really cool, and I don't see that a lot in middle grade, so I was really excited that this book exists in the world because that's so important and so wonderful. And more bisexual representation, I picked up P.S. I Miss You by Jen Petro-Roy. This is a book that is written, I think, almost entirely in letters from the main character's point of view to her older sister who was sent away after getting pregnant. This book takes place in a Catholic household, and the main character is bisexual. I'm assuming she is not out, because if her parents were so severe about sending her sister away for getting pregnant, I can't imagine in a Catholic household what that would look like coming out as bisexual. So this book I think is going to be really heavy, but in a good way, and I've heard really great things about it. Unfortunately, the reason that I found out about this book is it was banned from multiple middle school libraries because of the content of the book, with the main character being so open and questioning about their bisexuality, and that sucks that that's how I found out about this book. But hopefully putting it on my channel can give it a little boost, because we need middle grade that discusses sexuality and identity, because sometimes those children don't have those words to apply to themselves, because they live in very conservative households that don't allow them to have that language. And sometimes books are the only way to discover that and know why you're feeling a certain way. And sometimes just being able to identify yourself and have a label to like put yourself into can be so helpful. So this book, picked it up. Hopefully I'm going to read it soon, and if it's amazing, I'm going to shout from the mountaintops, read this bisexual book. Anyway, that is it for today's book haul. Those were quite a few books. I'm very excited about all of them. I think they all are going to be really amazing, and honestly, I am probably going to read all of them fairly soon because they're all just very high up on my list of books that I want to read. I will leave links in the down bar below for my other social media sites such as Goodreads, Twitter, and Instagram, and y'all should totally follow me on there. As always, thank you so much for watching. Stay weird.